Welcome back to the morning show, the owner of Kate's art school, Kate Schwartz.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah.
In beautiful downtown Brooklyn. How was the pandemic for your art school?
Well, we closed down like everyone, for like, I don't know, 8 weeks or something was what we were subject to. I mean, I think it was supposed to be longer, but there was a point when I just opened back up because I wasn't going to survive it if not. And I thought if students come, they come. If they don't, they don't. Yeah. But I'm surely going to die here as a company if I don't do something. So, but that's also the point when we started offering retail, which was a huge component in like pivoting our business. But it took a second to grow that. So
yeah, I was on your website. You guys offer an enormous amount of art supplies. Talk a little bit about what you guys have.
Yeah. So our classes are drawing, painting, ceramic, sculpture, printmaking, and collage, and we try to sell everything that we use in our classes. So a lot of students really love our products, and I found myself always sending them to the art store for the things we were using, and there was a point when I needed to pivot, as we were saying, and it just dawned on me like, why don't I see what it takes to sell these things? Came up with some really great partnerships. We partner with Golden Acrylics, Speedball, Faber-Castell, so we have some really great branded products in our store.
Yeah, you probably felt like you should be getting a commission from all those art stores you were sending people to.
Yes, kind of felt like that after a while. I remember there was one day where I was like talking about a ruler to my students, and this lady was like, "You could have just sold me that ruler," like because I was talking about like the cork back and the flexible nature and the metal, like why it's important to have metal and not wood. They were like, "I could have just bought that from you if you had that in a store," and that was where the light bulb went off.
I'm sure your artists enjoy buying from you rather than some of the big box stores anyways.
I do have very loyal.
Yeah. So you've got a lot going on. You've got classes really for all ages. You've got different styles of classes. You brought a couple slides. Let's talk through some of these.
Yeah, so this is a Monotype class coming up. So I should mention that all of the slides here are for adult classes. Okay. Our children's classes start in September and go all the way through May. Although we do welcome kids at this point, they are considered a late enrollee, so we're focused more on the classes that are upcoming to start. So this is Monotype, which is a printmaking class. It's kind of like painting, but it's a little bit more spontaneous. So you paint on like a sheet of glass and then lay down a piece of paper to pull.
Kate, did you pick up some new students during the pandemic that were kind of just looking for a new hobby or something to do during that time?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of students who came back, but I did see kind of like a switcheroo in the type of clients that I started to serve. So before the pandemic, we had a lot more older retirees, and I was before the pandemic when China was still getting hit and the U.S. wasn't yet, and Italy was next, if you can remember back that far. People's stocks were starting to go down, and I saw a decline in my older clientele. Like they were starting to already like respond to that, so I kind of knew to pivot and to work towards kids classes and getting more like 35-year-old parents who wanted to sign their kids up rather than these retirees who were watching their portfolios go down.
What is Hand Building 101?
So that's ceramics. So ceramics, there's two categories within pottery, and then there's sculpture, ceramic sculpture that is. So one is hand building and one is wheel throwing. And hand building is like working at the table. It has a lot of charm, and I would say it's an even wider array of things that you can do than wheel throwing. Wheel throwing can be a little limiting because you are using one tool, the wheel, but hand building can use a lot of different tools. So what you're looking at here is a slab-built soap dish, but there'd be all kinds of things that you could do with it. So this is drawing from reference. This is a pen and ink class. I'm excited to offer this. I haven't offered a pen and ink class before, but I've had a lot of interest in it. So we'll be working from photographs and translating them into line drawings done with ink.
There's that wheel.
This is the wheel.
Yes. So we do our wheel lessons privately. So sometimes people call and they want to do a class, but I actually don't believe that wheel lessons should be by the class. So there's two wheels side by side, and I sit right next to you, and so I show you a step, then you mimic the step. next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see maybe some videos from some of these classes where it's huge and there's just stuff flying all over the place. And I assume that a beginner would definitely need some help from
You know,
the
the wheel
instructor.
is not really a beginner tool.
Really?
No, it's actually quite advanced. So
Is
it's
it?
really interesting to me that you see these beginners in these like group
It's
classes
amazing.
at these other facilities. Like I have no idea how they're getting any success at all. I feel like I have to sit right there because it's so advanced. It's a more advanced tool. So oil pastel, I'm pretty excited about this class. This starts pretty soon here at the end of the month. Oil pastel is a very misunderstood medium because it works like a crayon, but in the end your paintings are more closely aligned with an oil painting. And the way that it works with being mixable, you can remove it, you can thin it with paint thinner. It is really more like an oil painting in the end. So
But
we'll be
it's a
exploring
stick.
that. It's a fine art crayon, yeah. It's a stick, but it's instead of wax, it's like oil based.
What's your favorite?
Well, personally, I'm a pastelist, not oil, just traditional pastel. So the soft pastel, not chalk pastel, that's a whole different thing.
Are
But
you-
pastel.
Are you the teacher for all the courses?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm trained in all of it. I went to school for visual arts education, and I walked away, like I took a long time to get through all of my program because I ended up concentrating in drawing, painting, and sculpture. And so when I walked away, or graduated, didn't leave, like I'm making that sound like I just left. When I graduated, some of my first jobs were actually in sculpture, and then I had to, which is funny because it's so rare to find a teacher who can teach sculpture at all these places. And so like I was at Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp and Creative Arts of Tecumseh and like Tecumseh High School and like working in their sculpture program. And I really wanted to teach painting, and so I had to kind of go backwards around through it. Like most teachers start with painting and then end up in sculpture, and I ended up on the 3D side, coming back around.
It's amazing to have that skill set. I'm sure have you had students kind of bounce around from class to class? And
We
pick
recommend
up-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of the different mediums help each other. So it sounds backwards, but if you learn to sculpt, then you will be a better drawer because you're going to work in the three-dimensional world, which is going to help you depict the three-dimensional world. So here you can see on this slide, it talks about the different things that you should consider when picking a class. We only recommend 3 things. The first would be budget, the second would be schedule, and the third would be interest, and that is all. Don't pinhole yourself into like, I'm a drawer, therefore I can only take drawing classes. Just look for budget, schedule, and interest because all of the classes will help each other. In fact, I believe, and I do find this, that when people only work on one medium, like let's say they focus in drawing, their skills cap quite early, and they can never get, let's say, painterly with their drawings or use a more interesting use of space in their drawings because they've only taken drawing courses. So take it all.
It's
Can
awesome.
anyone be taught?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. You just have to want to learn it. I mean, you can learn anything. If you have the mindset of I can learn things, then yeah.
You have to be interested in it. You
I've
have to
seen
be-
some
Yes.
people go to those paint and the wine and paint parties, and their work is horrible.
Well,
This is
I
not-
would not. I would actually make the argument that that's not actually an art class.
That's a
It's a drinking party.
it's a thing to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thing to do.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, some of your art could hold up at some of those though. But yeah, this is more advanced for sure. But yeah, I think you should take a class. I
think
know
you
Mom
should
would
take
be
it.
really good.
You should take a class.
I know. I would definitely surprise myself either how awful it was or how much better I thought I
Well, a
was.
lot of times people come in and they say, like, I have no ability. In which case, my response is, or have you just not had a teacher?
That's it.
There you go.
Do you maybe just not
See?
know?
Look at
We're
that.
signing
Look at
Andy
that. You
up.
Totally changed my mind. I love it.
Your next student at Kate's Art School, teacher, owner, Kate Schwartz. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
We'll wrap things up after this.